Good evening, Rush Nation. I hope you're all having a good time. My name's the Joel Hewitt, the Hat Rack with a Heart of Gold, and I'm joined today by my co-host Pete, the off-season champion. Pete, how the devil are you doing?
Great, thank you very much. Had a good day. Just finished drafting, so always a positive start to the evening.
Excellent. Yeah, we're in draft season. I'm sure we're going to get a bit to that a little bit later on. Just being myself today, Alex has been taken away from us by somebody else who wants to pay him actual physical money. So we couldn't tell. I won't say what they're paying him for, but he's definitely getting paid. And this time of night, who knows?
Worth every penny.
Worth every penny. I'll find out from him later, I'm sure. Anyway, let's just get straight onto it because, like I said last week, people say let's jump straight into it. Don't jump straight into it. It's usually 10 minutes in, but here we are, 1 minute 40 seconds. Let's get the ball rolling. So, just a little topic to get us going. The most heartwarming story of the week, as far as I'm concerned, was watching Michael Phelps, most decorated Olympian in American history, maybe of all time. I've not checked his stats. This isn't a swimming podcast. He got like a viral video from one of the Ravens to ask him to go and teach them how to swim. Apparently, 1 in 3 of the Baltimore Ravens couldn't swim. And there's this wonderful, wonderful video of them all just like splashed around, got the noodles out. Michael Phelps grew like a big like man in the woods beard and was talking to them about it. And I just thought it was a bit like crazy. I mean, with all due respect, anybody that can't swim, that's up to you. But like, it's a survival skill. Just boggles my mind that athletes like this wouldn't be able to, especially if you're a big man. The last thing you want to be doing is sinking down. Do you see anything about that?
I saw that on there. It did look like the exact type of thing where the team has stayed together so well for so long that they know what they're doing. They can afford to just have a bit of fun and have those kind of cohesive team bonding moments. It's really nice, really nice to have something
Yeah, it's
like
really
that.
cool. And then it got me thinking. Based on any knowledge that you've gotten at any other sports, who do you think would make a good coach for a team? Could be a position coach, could just be to take one over overall. I've gone outside of the NFL on this one. Have you picked anybody?
Yes, I went outside of NFL as well. It might seem like a pretty obvious person to say because of how he is as an athlete, but I went for Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think the reason I'm going with Cristiano is because the thing that all the players and teammates and coaches say about him is his work ethic. He is naturally talented, but he's not got to where he is now because of his talent. It's that work ethic, that preparation, the extra levels he goes to where he will have a 3-hour nap in the middle of the afternoon to help his body prepare. He turns up a couple of hours early for everybody else. He does entire loops of the pitch, doing turnovers and all of his skills and flick flacks and all of that just to make sure his skills are always there. And that level that he puts in and that points to which he goes to as an aspiration and how high his brand is, even in America where they don't necessarily have such a soccer vibe. I think it's reminiscent of what you see with the videos for the likes of Derrick Henry and Aaron Donald and James Harrison back when he was in the league, of just going that extra mile. And I think if you want that in your team, I think he'd be fantastic, a real inspiration.
I mean, look, you had me at nap. I had no idea that a big part of his his game was nap. So now I'm feeling like me and Ronaldo are on at least some kind of similar level because once I've had a big lunch after the day job, 2 o'clock rolls around. You're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get me a power 40, and then I'm a better product manager at the end of the day. And I think that that Ronaldo and I definitely could hook up, maybe start our own little like nap based podcast. So. Ron, if you're out there, give me a shout. When you put Ronaldo in there, because you just put Ronaldo, my brain instantly goes to the Ronaldo, not Cristiano. So I was interested to see where he might fall. I copped out a little bit because I'm not the biggest sports person in the world, and I leaned on everyone's favorite robot, ChatGPT. So I asked it, and it came out with a blinder of an answer. And for me, Tony Adams, former England and Arsenal captain. And here's the reasons behind it. So background, it was like one of the best defenders in football history. I'm going to let you correct me whenever you think that the robot is incorrect. known more for leadership and tactical awareness than pure athleticism.
Yeah.
And they reckon that the NFL fit would translate well as a defensive backs or linebackers coach, teaching positioning, discipline, and communication across a unit. And yeah, I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, I get that. I think there's actually kind of a lot of logic there as well. And he's abused his body in the same way that a lot of NFL players have as well in playing that sport. So he can sympathise.
Yeah, he'll still be in like the same meetings and everything. It's funny, like whenever I think of like the Arsenal defense, I immediately go to the Full Monty, where they're like, "Oh yeah, the offside trap," to like get their belts whipped out. So there you go. So timely reference there, as always, from the 5 Yard podcast.
I love
timely and specific to a very niche set of people. I went on for a minute because I was like, all right, go on, give me some fictional ones here. So it gave me 3. Yoda to be a D-back coach. I'm not going to give reasons why for this, but like giving DBs the need to see the future of a play. Fantastic. Love that. Mr. Miyagi for your O-line because he'd drill hand placement, balance, and footwork. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. And then finally, your obvious choice for maybe greatest fictional coach of all time, your man Ted Lasso. It doesn't say strengths mustache, but strengths are unmatched positivity. Like if we're playing Ted Lasso top trumps here, communication, people skills, and then having with the wideouts because they're, and I quote, a mercurial bunch. He'd keep them motivated, laughing, and focused while building an incredible team chemistry. Where would you stick Ted Lasso? I'm just going to throw a swerve here. Who do you think could do with a Ted to come in and sort them out?
Oh, just need that kind of that positivity and that good vibe. I think the Raiders. I know they've got Cameron now, but it's just a den of vice and iniquity in Vegas, and he'll keep them on the straight and narrow.
They'll be knitting it in the rooms at like 8 p.m. Before again. They're like, we don't need any of that going on.
Or anywhere where Aaron Rodgers is. Just him to turn Aaron Rodgers around and give him the Jamie Tart treatment and just stop him being a diva and just get his head screwed on. It'd just be.
I wonder where you was going when you said it started with a D and you went diva. Sorry, Aaron. I think we've bashed you 2 weeks in a row, so that's something that we'll keep going as long as we can do.
Absolutely.
So moving on. I mean, look, we're now into 2 weeks of preseason, a difficult time for any upstart NFL podcast to try and drag some content from, but boy, are we going to try. So we're going to move on to the same thing that we do every week, because this is 2 weeks in a row now, the news, which I've dubbed Zazu, Sir, news from the underground. Because it might be one of my favorite quotes from a movie, not just an animated movie, but that little gopher was fantastic. And it just made me think of that when I was writing the notes for the news topics. So, top of the board, I think it probably happened before. Well, it did happen before pod last week, but we didn't really touch on it. However, there's a little bit more to the story around the NFL and ESPN. I know that the two are quote unquote in bed with one another. I don't know who bought who or who approached what. But it's both one of those positive and negative things. I'm worried for the likes of Red Zone. I know last year Red Zone already became 7 hours of football. It wasn't commercial free all of a sudden 1 week and everyone freaked out, but that's because there was like a Gatorade logo somewhere or something like that. But it does mean that ESPN can like brand every single thing. And I saw a few people saying if they let Pat McAfee anywhere near Red Zone, we riot. So that kind of got me a little bit, because now they're all under like that same umbrella. Pat McAfee fell under there too, and now was it Disney who paid for ESPN or vice versa? Sorry, Disney are ESPN. Did they come in and like give some money to the NFL? I think
NFL bought a 10% stake in ESPN.
Right. Okay.
I believe that's what it is.
And they're starting to go cross-platform. One of the things that I did see and I've been meaning to watch, Rich Eisen started his career on Sports Center, which is on ESPN. And for me, Rich Eisen's like my favorite sports pundit or personality of all time. I'll listen to that man for 3 hours a day to talk about all sorts of stuff. I know little about baseball, but boy, does he make me want to think about it sometimes. But like he did like a top 10 plays since he last hosted Sports Center. So over the past 20 years, I've yet to watch it. I'll be interested to see it. I'm going to report back on it next week. But you've put something in here, a little bit of controversy surrounding the whole thing. Do you want to talk me through that?
Yeah, ESPN had a contract signed with Spike Lee, and he'd made a documentary about the whole Kaepernick situation and the kneeling for the anthem. And it's just slightly peculiar timing that shortly after the NFL buys a stake in ESPN, that documentary is canned. Nobody can talk about it. ESPN have cited creative differences. And Spike Lee's just said, I can't talk about it. I've signed an NDA. And it just, it kind of stinks.
Is it a creative difference if you've already made it?
Yeah.
Sure, you're just disagreeing with it at this point.
Yeah.
We don't come off very well here.
That's the creative difference. We don't like you telling that side of the story. Thank you very much.
You're creative. We have some indifference.
Yeah. I hope it's one of those things that accidentally gets leaked. Whoops, this has just made it onto dodgy streaming sites, because I'm intrigued to know how hard he went in on the NFL and everything around that, because I think it'd be quite a fascinating story.
I mean, controversial maybe, but I really liked Kaepernick, and the whole like kneeling thing I don't really care here or there about. I liked him as a player, and boy, when he was like essentially a hidden character in Madden, I stuck him on the Broncos, and good Lord, just destroyed. And I was just, man, there is, those like what if things where you get. I just wonder if, God bless him, he didn't speak up. I love the fact that he did. That's fine. But if he hadn't, I would love to have seen that continue on, like him at the Niners. Just looking at like the Niners now, you know me, I like Mr. Relevant Brock Purdy, but Kaepernick there would just been a beautiful thing to see. And I think he still tried out in a few places, and it was good to do that. I think the controversy got the best of him, and he's probably doing better because of all of that. I would have loved to have seen Spike Lee's take on it. Spike Lee being Spike Lee, it's incredibly one-sided, and I'm not his target demographic at all. I'm as close as a white person to the Spike Lee demographic as you can get, but I'm far off of that. But yeah, hopefully I'll keep my eye on totally legal streaming services to see if it pops up, and I'll report back. I'll get some moles out there. Timely reference back to the Zazu.
Nice.
Thanks. Next up, news. I don't know if this really is news, but if Rap Sheet reports on it, I think I'm allowed to. The Walrus is off of PUP. Darren Waller is practicing with Miami today. I don't expect there to be a lot to say about it. I just feel like I owe it to him to bring him up, because I really like the dude, and the tight end position is one of the more fun to watch, as you may have seen from last week's podcast. We had a bit of a chat about it. I'm surprised that Waller even coming back, and if he was going to come back, personally, I think the Giants are going to be more fun to watch than Miami this year. So it's strange to me that he has returned, and that he is. He started on PUP, obviously, and that he's back now. I'll be interested to see how that goes with Tua, because I mean it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it could. I don't think it will be. I think this is.
He has a cool nickname. My whole nickname squad. Waller's a tight end. Unless anybody can mention another tight end with a better nickname
than the Walrus.
I don't think there is one out there.
Not that's immediately springing to mind, but I'd like to hear if other people got any ideas. I think like this is just midlife crisis. He got his divorce from Kelsey Plum last year, and it just feels like he's gone onto Tinder and found the young girl, and it's just like, I'm still young. I've still got it. I've got a cool car. please.
Bet he has got a cool car, but it's red convertible.
Yeah.
And something sporty.
I like the guy. I like his story. I like what he's managed to come through. So I hope it does work out. But I am cynical, as you've kind of probably picked up over the last couple of pods. I'm very cynical.
Shock. Okay, I'll let you take the next couple of stories. Talk to me.
Okay, so it's just a couple of like little weird things from pre-season. I don't know if anybody follows him on Twitter. There's an Eagles reporter called Elliot Shawparks, and we know that pre-season reporting and off-season reporting is the worst. There's a dearth of information. There's just not great stories to come out. But this guy is Elliot Shawparks is an Eagles beat reporter, and what he thinks is relevant borders on parody. He reported the big thing last year. It was a constant ongoing thing about the Eagles having a Hurts setting the franchise record for completed passes without an interception in training camp. And he would give daily updates about that, and then made this point of last year he set the franchise record, 305 passes without an interception, and that's linked to why they won the Super Bowl. Yeah, Caleb Williams had a longer run without an interception, and the Bears were pants. They were not good. So not in proper games.
Do we have numbers for this preseason? Is he going to break the record from last preseason? Do we know?
No, I think he got to about 60 odd, and then had a couple. There are numbers; they're constantly being updated, but he's had far more interceptions. And I'm like, in training camp. Yeah.
Oh, preseason. That is it is the boredest man at preseason, isn't it?
It really is.
He's just got a tally somewhere, and he's like just doing it, and then scrub it off. Days since incident, flips back to 0.
Yeah.
Does he now keep counting, or should it have just been like, oh, we got close to it, but now there isn't enough time left, or has he started back from 0 and we're going again?
It's exactly that flip chart at the back, completely reset, and every day he will post. These are Hurts. Like Hurts is the only person on that entire team. Like nothing that it might not be good for the defense that they're not getting any interceptions. They're not turning the ball over. That's purely this is what Hurts does. And to set it off on his latest video, he's wearing a Leeds United shirt, so that's even more questionable. Yeah, he's a Philly native and a Leeds United t-shirt of all shirts. So
how did Leeds get all the way over there? Like
Red Bull.
Okay. Right. Yeah. No. Fair enough.
What it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They want to start calling them RB Leeds, which is what I will forever know them as. I did see somebody with it in a Leeds United shirt. They actually with the Red Bull thing on the front. Yeah. Jarring.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It just feels too continental.
Yeah. It's not quite right, especially for Leeds. Not very continental.
No.
Again, timely references here on the UK NFL podcast. Leeds United and Red Bull. Then from Elliot Shawparks to, and I read this terribly, to Commies Rush for 17.7 yards per carry. On the Bengals team. So do you want to explain your show notes there, please?
Yeah. It kind of ties into the bit of the story that Trey Hendrickson, Bengals now shopping their star defensive end, and they're trying to see what they can get for him because they can't get to a contract. But if you wanted any semblance of how good their defense is, which was utterly awful last year, it was truly appalling, despite how good the offense was and how imbalanced that team is. It's when they played the Commanders this week, their first team defense shipped 17.7 yards per carry against the Commanders running backs. And Jaden Daniels as well. And that is spectacularly awful. That is horrendously bad. And do you remember that meme when the Bengals drafted Jamar Chase, and it was throw it to Chase, but Burrow gets killed because he's got no offensive lineman, or draft Penei Sewell and throw it to anybody? And they've just gone, right, we'll go to the other extreme. Now it's not just, line versus wide receiver, it's offense v defense. We're going to have nothing on defense. They're going to be absolutely abysmal. But I think they need to start coming out to Vindaloo by Fat Les. And it's just, we're going to score one more than you all the way through. Because that is an abomination of a defense. And I don't
It doesn't matter if you win by it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Vin Diesel, Fast and Furious. Yeah. And that's probably what they're going to do. Just like try and hold Burrow together with chewing gum and prayer. Just keep sending him out there and like, just put me in, coach. I'll be fine. It's like, put down cigarettes. Like, let's just go. Let's do it. He's like just hanging off like one arm. He's just going to keep cobbing it.
That kicker from The Simpsons whose leg comes off.
They're definitely going to win that division. It's insane. Because, and I mean, I've not played the notes here, but I saw 34 minutes ago Lamar Jackson hurt his wrist. So, in practice, I'm sure he's absolutely fine. But get all of your money on the Bengals to win their division now.
I won't do that.
An interesting choice. Let's see if it pans out. Now on to a potential candidate for nickname, but all nickname team players. Danny Dimes Jones, quote, gets the starting job in Indy over Richardson, which we all expected. But the best part was the quote is for the season. And that for me could be like absolute like smoke blowing to be like, please just stop asking. And, maybe we'd put Richardson in at some point. But if you're stood there, you are just saying, that's it. I do not care. Daniel Jones could throw as many interceptions as he likes. That he is better than Richardson, in my opinion.
Yes.
God bless him.
Anthony Richardson was last or near last in every single stat last year. He needs to be sat behind. He needs to have the Jordan Love treatment. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's got fantastic power behind his arm, and he's got good legs. But he needs somebody to teach him how to play quarterback because he is not a quarterback. Put him with a decent quarterback up front that he can learn from, great. Sitting behind Daniel Jones, and you might as well just bin them both off and sack the season off. Daniel Jones is not the answer. And I've seen quite a few takes of, we'll put Daniel Jones. Why are you putting Daniel Jones in? Because we know what his upside is. If you let Anthony Richardson grow and develop, he could be a boat. He won't.
No.
They're both rubbish, and Steichen and the team are trying to keep their jobs. So I think they'll go from a potential 2 or 3 wins to maybe 4 or 5 wins with Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes might have the best agent of all time. Just goddamn, like that boy got paid in New York for one of those freak playoff like wild card runs that you just wouldn't expect from them, and like, oh my gosh, he's great. And then somehow they ended up having to pay him, and now he's got another starting job somewhere, and I can't believe that. And when you said Richardson's got had some of the worst stats, I actually got some from CEO Murph, and he sent me these the other day. 55 QBs have 175 attempts in the last 2 years. Richardson ranks 55th out of 55 in accuracy, 55th out of 55 in completion rate, and 50th in TD in ratio. That is ridiculous. There are 5. I can't believe that there are 5 QBs out there that have more a worse TD in ratio than Richardson. But gosh, to be the lowest of 55 over 2 years. Bearing in mind there's 32 teams, so there's some backups in there that have outscored him even slightly. Also, let's not forget that he did get a little tired that one time. He was just, I did a bit of a run, coach. Just let me sit down. And that's when he lost the locker room. He lost the fans. He made Pat McAfee swear live on TV. It was a brilliant moment and an interesting move for somebody who is like one of the, I think they say 2% of all kids who ever play American football actually make it to the NFL. Boy, the other 98% must be bad for Anthony Richardson I got that
to be a top 5 pick. Yeah.
Mad. But it's the race to get Manning now, isn't it? And there are 2 front runners, and both have legitimate like headlines for the newspapers. There's the New Orleans Saints, who obviously Granddad Manning. I forgot Arch Manning. No, Arch is the current one. Archie Manning. That's one of the 2. Archie Manning. Which again, Murph. You know, he's a Bucs fan. He sent me a bunch of stats on Archie Manning, and quote, he went 33, 91, and 3 for the Saints. Archie was with the Saints for 10 years, and they reached over 500 once. He also went 1-15 the following year after those 10 seasons. He went on to start 10 more games in the NFL, 0-10 with other teams. So, but is in the Saints Hall of Fame.
Because of his semen. Yeah, but look what he produced.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please. Like, they're just trying to fill that out at that point, I think. But yeah, so then if Arch Manning gets there, they'll probably not mention any of those stats, but they'll show some like ye olde time classic shots of Archie Manning and Arch Manning, so that might be nice. And then obviously, as we're talking about the Colts here, if they can officially be no good, then they've got the Peyton Manning, Arch Manning, and Peyton's his uncle, isn't it? Yeah, it's not like Peyton's boy. So yeah, so there's those 2 contenders. Anyone else do we think that could be in the running? Worst team this year?
Browns, and potentially Seahawks.
Browns have got 6 QBs.
I know, but they're all rubbish. If you've got 6 QBs, you don't have one.
No, that's right. Do you say Seahawks as well?
I think so, because if Darnold turns back into a pumpkin, I think they could be in trouble.
Yeah, start seeing ghosts.
Yeah, there's a risk there that a lot of that was, can you start to see towards the back of this last season that it's all Kevin O'Connell is why Darnold looked good. I think that could go badly.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Anyway, who knew that we'd get a solid 10 minutes out of Daniel Jones getting the starting job in Indianapolis? There are probably fans of other teams that are like, wow, you're spending all this time on the Colts and you haven't mentioned, I don't know, Green Bay once. Have we?
Insulted Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, tenuous link, I guess.
Yeah.
So then the last news story we've got, it's just depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rashee Rice suspension. So you put in the hearing at the end of September. The NFL's pushing for a 10-game ban, but Rashee, with absolutely no legs to stand on, is fighting that one. I saw somewhere where they were like, "Oh, we think it'll be between 2 and 8." It's a pretty wide gap.
Yeah. So it was reported originally that it was going to be 10 games, and that was kind of the rumor that was there. And then it came out, was it Schefter, I think, earlier on, said no, actually the NFL are wanting 8. NFLPA is saying, well, the rules here are 6. For anybody that doesn't know, he was racing in his car, caused a big car pile-up. I don't think anybody died, but there's quite a lot of injuries there, and he admitted it. So he's admitted guilt. So it's going to happen. This happened several months ago. It's now been delayed to the end of September for the hearing because it was the only time the judge could do, and they wanted the same judge that presided over the Deshaun Watson case.
Wow. Judge full schedule.
Yeah.
Rough time to be a judge, apparently.
It's it's just that this is my niche now. Just reprobates in the NFL.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of work there. So yeah, the league want 8. NFLPA have said 6 max, but they're trying to push it down. I think it'll probably come to about 5. But it'd be interesting to see where that lands if it comes in September, whether that's mid-season or whether it affects the kind of the playoff push in the end of the season, because he is probably their wide receiver 1 if he's still when he's playing. And I'd be interested to see if they absolutely just run him into the ground for this first month with the expectation of he's going to miss time.
you know what? It's not a bad shout. You can, like I say, run him into the ground with all due respect. I don't know why I say that idiot thing, so I don't care about due respect. But you could just say, hey, look, we're going to run you till the wheels fall off. Nobody is really going all out in the first 4 weeks. We could really just tire you out here. You're going to get suspended. You could have then 6 weeks off, or 8-10 weeks off, and then come back and we'll do the same again. You'll be fresh for the playoffs. Just keep running up and down your own garden, stay fit, and then we'll see you in a bit. So, although, yeah, granted, they probably don't want to be without their number one wide receiver, but they've still got.
They've got Worthy.
No.
They've got Kelsey.
Yeah, but
they've got enough, and they've got Mahomes.
Slightly.
Yeah, they've got Mahomes, and that should be enough. I think is Juju still there as well. So.
Oh yeah, I think they re-signed him in the offseason, didn't they?
And they've got Hollywood Brown as well, so they've got enough bodies that Mahomes can make it work. I'm not worried about the Chiefs, but it'll be whether that affects their 1 seed against the likes of the Ravens.
Yeah, they although they did prove that they can do it without the home field advantage, didn't they? So
yeah,
the likelihood is they're still going to be the Chiefs and get that weird. Well, they're the Fat Lads, weren't they? Last year, they just kept accidentally winning at the end of something. Like some weird thing would happen, like a pigeon would hit the ball, so it went through the uprights for the field goal, or I don't know, just an act of God. Like just kept happening. So I'm sure it will, but that cursed monkey paw is going to run out at some point. I don't, for the record, anyway that knows me, I don't hate the Chiefs. I don't like Patrick Mahomes, and this isn't a talent thing. This is because I just didn't believe that he was going to take Alex Smith's job. I was like, at the time, a big Alex Smith guy, and I was like, I just like the way the man plays. And then they sat him, and I think it was like the last week of the season, and they're like, Pat can start. And I was like, flash in a pan. It's week 17. No one's playing the starters against this guy. And then obviously Smith ended up losing his job. So then I was just mad for no reason at Patrick Mahomes, saying, flash in the pan, it'll be 1 season. Anyway, it's been like 8 years now. I think
it's his 9th season, yeah. So yeah, 8 seasons.
9th season. Yeah. So he proved me wrong. But I just can't bring myself to like the guy. And that, again, it's not a talent thing. It's just because he took a job, and that was enough for me to dislike him. I did have him in my fantasy team last year, and he was terrible, but I did still win this. So, maybe bridges can be mended eventually. Although he didn't help, he actively went against my team last year. It was painful. But we're not the fancy podcast. You tune into that flagship show on Thursdays, and that's all of the news that we've got this week. Unless you've got something hidden in your back pocket there, Pete.
No, I don't want to focus too much on the Bears smashing the Bills 38-0 because it's pre-season. It doesn't matter. So I think we can gloss over some of that other stuff.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, probably could do. Nobody cares. So I guess just before we get to the topic of the week, we thought we'd just talk a little bit palate cleanser, if you will, between topics. And today, just before we went live, Pete and I drafted in our Dynasty League. That's Dinner, DINNER, Dynasty League, because the winners get dinners. The winner each year gets a meal paid for by the rest of the league if they manage to book it in on time and we actually make it to the thing. So in the past couple of years, we may not have. But it is a Dynasty League, nonetheless, that was won by Murph last year for the first time. Took him a long time. Murph's in 2 leagues with us, one that we've had going for, I think this is 15 years now, and the Dynasty one that's been probably about 6 or 7, I guess, at this point. Yeah. And Murph's finally won one. Your fantasy analyst, Murph, has finally beat us, bunch of rank amateurs. But yeah, so we just drafted in there, and I've not had any chance to talk to you about it. I didn't really see who you picked up. Are you pleased with anyone, and who are you going to be watching?
Pleased and annoyed. I'm annoyed that the drumbeat on Travion Henderson has pushed his ADP up so high. I think Henderson's going to be this year's Kamara. He's just going to be a monster. And I normally am in the final in this league. I've won it the last 2 years before last year, and I was top of the league this year. I just lost in the semis, so ended up picking 5th. But I got RJ Harvey, and I'm really, really happy with that. I think short term there's going to be probably a couple of issues with J.K. Dobbins, but J.K. Dobbins is made out of biscuits, so I don't expect he's going to last particularly long. And I think RJ Harvey is going to be an absolute smash pick. So I'm really, really happy with that. And yeah,
Sean Payton talked him up, didn't he? Like quite a lot, saying,
yeah,
he's a guy, we love him, but people are quick to say he says that about everyone. So
yeah,
you take it all with a pinch of salt a little bit. But you know, the buzz is that he's a decent dude. I had Harvey above Henderson, so I thought you did better there. But why is all of a sudden the wind picking up on Henderson? Don't they already have an RB1? It's going from my head now.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, that's it, Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. Ramondre fell off quite a bit last year. I mean, the team wasn't good, so it's not entirely on him. I think the big thing was week 1, he got the kickoff return touchdown, Henderson, and he's just looked like something. He was really good. I know he was the target for a few teams, including the Bears. When a lot of people were lamenting the Bears didn't get a running back and they needed one, their plan was Henderson in the second, and he got sniped by New England. So Luther Burden was the consolation prize. I mean, a very good consolation prize. I don't think they were expecting to be there, but and there were a few other teams that really wanted Henderson. So it was quite a coup for New England to get him. I think people were quite surprised that they took one that early when they had Ramondre, who's not bad, but he didn't look great last year on a bad team. So I think his time is short, and I think Henderson's just going to skyrocket.
That's fair enough. I'd like you to talk about my first round pick, because I thought, because I was in the final against Murph last year, so my team's like pretty stacked. I'm pretty ready to run it back this year. I picked up Travis Hunter, who I didn't think would be available there, but based on what you know about our scoring,
yes,
is Travis Hunter actually a good pick to take there, because he's going to be on both sides of the ball, and he won't score defensive points for me. Should I start him, it would just be wide receiver stuff, if I'm not mistaken, because we're NFL, we're not like sleep or anything.
Yeah, and it's because we're standard. He's very, very good. He's an exceptional player. He would have been in the Heisman Trophy last year, even if he didn't play defensive back. He was that good as a wide receiver. He's going to be superb. He could absolutely pay off. But because we're standard scoring, not PPR, the presence of Brian Thomas Jr. there, I think, has depressed his value a little bit, because Brian Thomas Jr. is really, really good. Trevor Lawrence has never quite lived up to his expectation.
Can't cover them both, though. I'm hoping that...
Exactly. Yeah, and Liam Cohen coming in, I think he's offensive-minded. He worked wonders with Baker last year. I think they could absolutely go ham this year. So, and I think coming out of the draft, he was better than Brian Thomas Jr. as well. So he could actually take that first job, but it's going to be an uphill battle. I think that's the fear. If they split Trevor Lawrence targets, is that going to get you what you want in a relatively small league, where you're looking for every player to be top 10 upside?
Yeah, because I mean it's an 8-man like dynasty, this one, which means everybody has really stacked teams, and there's a lot of hoo-ha when people talk about 8-man leagues. Yeah, everyone's got superstars. Do you know how hard it is to win when you look at your team and you go, God, oh my God, there is no way in hell anybody has a better team than this. And then you go like 0-4 to start the season, and you can't understand why. I find it more challenging when everyone has got this level of talent.
Because you have to play your matchups. You can't just go, I've got Tyreek Hill, he's an instant start, it's fine. It's like, well, I don't like who he's playing against now, so I'm going to have to bring him out and bring in Chris Godwin, someone like that. So, yeah, it adds another level. I got Ibuka as well, and I'm really psyched for Ibuka. I think he's going to be phenomenal, and I'm sure Murph will wax lyrical about him.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain they will. I'll have to keep an eye out for him on the fancy side of the podcast. I thought I was going to end up with is it Scatbow? I like the guy. He kind of reminds me of Wolverine. He did all sorts in the college playoffs, didn't he? I think he threw one, ran two in, or something crazy like that. He's just a dude. I cannot wait to watch him. I am a little bit gutted that he's not on my dynasty team. I don't think he would make it in based on how stacked I am. But I thought he was going to be the one that would fall to me. And then my other, I got Caleb Johnson as well, just because I just went best player available at that point, and I thought he could be boom or bust. I'll just sit him and then see what happens, because I've got like Kamara's like my flex. That's where we're kind of at with that. But even though one thing about Pittsburgh, that they're pretty decent at picking runners. Will that be different with Aaron Rodgers wanting to throw it all the time, and he'll call as many audibles as possible, I guess. So we'll just see if there's any actual value in that.
Yeah, I think Tomlin loves a bell cow as well, doesn't he? And if he likes a guy, he will ignore all evidence that Jaylen Warren is better than Najee Harris and just keep playing his guy. Warren needed way more targets, more opportunities last year when Warren was fit. But I think that's what's going to happen this time. I think if Caleb Johnson's his guy, he'll get the rock an awful lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a very specific chat about our dynasty league that I'm sure everyone's like super interested in. But reach out if you ever want to fill a spot, if we ever get one. I'm always accepting applications for these things. If you want to lose a $5 and come for a meal with like Murph and Pete and me and some other people. But we will move on to the topic of the show. Trades you'd love to see. Pete, talk to me. This is something that you brought to the table.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There was a trade. Breece Hall was talking earlier this year about he's not the Jets guy, and he wants out because they want Braylon Allen, and he's really talented. So I just thought, where would be a good fit for him? And there's quite a few of them where you go, actually, what would make football more fun? Not necessarily what makes my team better or that team better. What would make football more fun to have these trades? And I think there's quite a few there. We can just go put that guy there and just see what happens. Let's cause absolute havoc.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, do you want to go like 1-1, like you, me? We've got 3 each that we've put together. We can see one another's, but I'd like to see you working. So I guess jump off. Breece Hall. Where are you
going? I promise I'm not going to talk about Chicago all the time, but it just seems like such a good fit. Chicago need a running back. Yes, yeah, Bulls he's got skills. The Bears need a running back. As I mentioned earlier on, it looked like they wanted Trayvon Henderson. They didn't get it. Swift, I think, is a good running back. He's explosive when he hits holes, but he can't find holes too often, and they need a better running back there. We know how much success Ben Johnson had with Sonic and Knuckles in Detroit, and I think Breece as a fantastic pass catcher, as well as a really, really, really good runner. I don't think he'll cost a lot because he's out of contract at the end of the season, so you could easily see the Bears saying, right, I'll chuck you a fourth or a fifth round pick to get him for the end of the season, see what they've got, and if they want to pay him, they potentially could. They can make some moves. I think there's a few high-paid players that might move off the team at the end of the season. So it wouldn't cost a lot to do that. The Jets love Braylon Allen. I think he's fantastic. So I don't think there'll be a massive loss to the Jets, and to get that trade capital back for a player that's disgruntled. And I think it would make Chicago way more interesting and exciting in a division that is incredibly tough, and it's going to be a real, probably the most difficult in football. So I think that would suit all parties and be quite an interesting one.
Do you think bringing somebody in who's already spat his dummy, chucked his toys out of the pram into a situation where the QB is also a dummy spitting, toy chucking kind of guy? It feels to me like look, player wise, yeah. Look, I really like Breece Hall. I've got a bit of a soft spot for the Jets, but I think Breece Hall going there would cause more problems. I think he needs. I think him and Caleb Williams would be either too alike and not get on, or so alike that they would, and it would be incredible. It could even go like the full Disney movie, like, oh, you've shown up, like I'm the man in charge here, but by the end they become like best friends. Like, in fact, no, I've talked myself into it. That would be beautiful, but I want him to come in with a chip on his shoulder, being like, "This is my team now." And Caleb's, crying to his dad or whatever that may be, and his dad's like, "No, Caleb, learn. You're the same guy." Yeah, okay, fair enough. We'll do that. From Breece to Bryce, I'm a Saints fan. I'm going to preface this. I've always had kind of a problem with the Carolina Panthers, but nowadays I'm starting to just feel sorry for Bryce Young. I think hidden away in there is a really, really competent QB, and I can kind of see it. And I don't want him to be good at the Panthers. And I've not got as much of a problem there since Cam Newton left. I'm not that kind of person to just like hate team because they're in the same division. If anything, I really quite like the color scheme, so I'm more likely to keep an eye on them. But I am now, because Bryce Young has kind of won me over. Every now and again, you go, "Ooh, he's going to be a problem." And I think just for the upgrade for another team, and to put him in a situation where nobody can fail, that really do a lot for his morale, I'm sending him to the Niners. So you put him in San Francisco, which, we spoke about Kaepernick earlier. He's got that kind of skill set that Kaepernick had. And from everything that I've seen, if you stick all of the kind of weapons that, Christ, you could QB the Niners to at least a playoff run. They could just like put anybody there, and they have just put anybody there. And again, I like Mr. Relevant. I'm going to keep an eye on him this season. But I just think if I'm making football fun, I'm sticking Bryce Young back there to just have a whale of a time. And, he could close his eyes and throw a ball, and it's going to land in the hands of somebody talented that's going to make him look amazing. And to me, that's kind of what it's all about. Also, I think he would look really good in like the red and gold. It's a nice look.
It is, yeah. I think that would work. And he showed when he came back from the benching last year that he is there is something there, and he's a good player. It'd be interesting to see if they can keep that up, and whether that can flow into this next year. He's got some good weapons now. He's got a couple of first-round picks. And something quite nice of having back-to-back picks, of Brock Purdy being the last pick of 2022, Bryce Young being the first pick of 2023.
Didn't think about that, actually. That's quite good. Yeah. Pretend I said that. Anybody, I'll edit. Damn it. I can't edit that in. Gosh.
But yeah, I think he's a really talented. He'd have every chance to succeed there, and it'd work really, really nicely. I think the Panthers would be loath to lose him at this point with what he showed at the back end of last year, but I think the better coaching and the situation there would be fantastic for him. Be really, really good.
Yeah, the trouble that what I couldn't make work is then who is the QB for the Panthers. I would have to do all sorts of like red string to just get some kind of compensation that would be fair to go to the Panthers, because I don't really even know who the backup is. Is it still Dalton?
Yes.
Fine, start him again. There we go. Yeah. Solved that one. All right, number 2. What's my goose?
Mine is Mark Andrews to the Dolphins. I've already made my...
I'm sorry. Did we not have a whole like Darren Waller moment earlier? You now want to usurp him with Mark Andrews?
I just want the oldest tight end room in the league. They could have such a lovely time. They'd have really nice cardigans.
Warm jumpers.
Yeah. They're going to talk about times of yore. I think because Isaiah Likely showed a lot of growth, and he's a fantastic tight end. He really showed that last year. At the end of this season, Mark Andrews and Likely are both up for contract renewals, and the Ravens just can't pay them both. Andrews is a fantastic red zone threat. Likely is fantastic, but he's obviously a lot younger. So I think they'll go that way. So I think Andrews is probably out at the end of this year unless he's willing to take a big pay cut. There's a real need for him in Miami, and he offers something different to the speed of Achane and Hill and Waddle. Just a big body guy who's fantastic in the red zone. I think he would elevate that team so much and just give them a different dimension for defenders to think about, rather than just get your fastest corners on the field and hope. I think if you get teams to defend the wide receivers, he'll bully them. If you get teams to focus on Andrews, they'll just skin you alive. I just think that balance would work really, really nicely. And I don't think it would cost the earth to do that.
No, probably right. And to be fair, Miami could do with some slower players. I think if Tua keeps taking a hit to the head, really need to slow that game down a little bit. And I reckon Mark Andrews might be your guy to do it. I don't think he's broken any land speed records. And I was going to say, at his age, God bless him, he's younger than me. But like if we were stood beside one another, people would think he was my dad. So that's completely besides the point. Yeah, I don't mind it. I still think that we let Darren Waller cook first, and then we'll see if we've got space for Mark Andrews. Going from offensive to defensive, I have gone for a player that this trade should have happened. And God bless him. I don't know what deal they had to do with a genie or devil or what it might be, but I've got Myles Garrett going to the Cowboys. Now, okay. I like Myles Garrett. I don't like some of the stuff that he does, speeding, trying to kill people with a helmet, all of those things. I think that he probably could cool it off a little bit. So sending him to a place traditionally full of criminals, the Cowboys love it when players get in trouble, or they have done in the past. Plus, I was doing a little bit of research into this, and Garrett, big fan of the Cowboys. Apparently, he was like growing up. I think that team needs a Myles Garrett to just get in there and just absolutely decimate the QBs that they're going up against. Like now, twice a year, it's hurts the Eagles. I've already forgotten. It's Russell Wilson at the moment, I guess, at the Giants for now. And then your man at the Commanders, whose name has gone from me now, James Daniels. Yeah. They need a Myles Garrett over there. And look, the Browns have got Myles, and they drafted a guy to go opposite him this year. So they're overly stacked. For a team that isn't going to win anything, it seems strange that they paid Myles Garrett. Now, whenever anything like that happens, I always have like a massive conspiracy theory that they've got Myles into a room and they've said, right, hear me out. If we give you some ludicrous money, when we trade you, they have to pay you that ludicrous money. So sign with us and then, get a couple of good big hits, and then we'll move you on to somewhere else. We look good. You look good. Everybody's kind of like happy in this situation. Granted, the Cowboys have less money than me on the 20th of August. It's a week till payday. So they can't afford him. That's why it would be kind of fun. If they could find some way to do it, I'm sure I don't think they would. Jerry Jones is an idiot. But I think seeing him like dressed in like the white and blue with the silver helmet and stuff, just absolutely smushing fools in competitive games where they do still have a chance of a playoff push. Yeah. I think that's what Myles was missing. I'm sure there are other places that he probably could have gone. Steelers would have been good fun. But for me, I reckon the Cowboys. Agree, disagree? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think if they brought him in on that money, I think Micah Parsons' tantrum would go absolutely nuclear. But if they did look behind the couch, and we're talking kind of fantasy football here, a defense with Myles Garrett on one side and Micah Parsons on the other could be absolute all time. It would be electric to watch. It would be phenomenal. But the Purple People Eaters all over again. And I would love to see that. I really, really would. Myles Garrett he's, like you said, he's made some questionable decisions, none more so than agreeing to re-sign with the Browns.
That might be the worst thing. If we could
Yeah.
send him to court for that one.
He is too good a player. It's a bit like Joe Thomas. He's too good a player to have that career where he's just tied to the factory of sadness for his career. And we know that Jerry loves to collect his superstars. He just wants a Pokemon deck full of Charizards, doesn't he? He just wants, I want my guys. I want my big guys.
I mean, I was going like the greatest like Madden Ultimate team that you could create, but yeah, you know, like the Pokemon card thing too. That hashtag will do numbers on TikTok because now we've managed to get the Pokemon crowd in on that one. Myles Garrett, Pokemon Cowboys. We're just checking boxes now. We're hitting algorithms. But now to the word algorithm, and immediately we're taken out.
You ruined it now.
I have, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I don't think you'll find a better choice from our list of stuff I was looking at, and it's fine. But feel free to give it a go. Go. Number 3.
I've actually just tweaked this one slightly. I love Jameis Winston. As a purely on the field prospect, he is entertainment. I want him in a starting job in the league. At the minute, he's backing up Russ. He's also really, really good for fantasy receivers because he doesn't care about his touchdown to interception ratio. He is going to sling it and not care. So I want him to go to the Jets because we've already seen him pre-season. I love Fields as a person. Fields is a wonderful person, but he's not throwing the ball. And I think when you've got like Garrett Wilson there and they've got the Mason Taylor, the new tight end there, I want somebody that's just gonna sling it and make them. They're not going to win. I don't think they're going to be particularly good this year, but at least make them entertaining. And Jameis makes every team he plays for entertaining, even if he doesn't make them good. So I think just let him go there, let him sling it, let Garrett Wilson put up 2,000 receiving yards and 36 interceptions. I don't care. It's just going to be fun.
I get you. And I had to suffer through a bit of his wonky decision making when he was slinging it for the Saints. And, he's a major part of the reason why Mike Evans got all of those like 1,000-yard seasons. Like that's Jameis Winston. Everyone talks Mike Evans, but Jameis Winston just was like, chuck it in the air and then let's see what happens. And that DNA still goes through the books now where Baker's trying to make sure that Mike Evans gets that. It's, like the for those that came before type of thing. So I like Jameis. What I'm kind of over is, and it's, I guess, a controversial take, I find him a little bit insufferable now. It was kind of fun. But for me, he's like flanderized himself where like the eating the W thing was like quirky in that. But now he's just an absolute caricature. It's like he's aware. He's too aware of how quirky he is. And now every interaction, it's like, mate, can we just have a conversation without you like honking a clown horn or something? I don't know like what it is. And it feels very much like he knows his days as a starter are at least numbered, if not like over, and he's like backing up. So he's really like putting himself out there to get a job on a network somewhere and be like, let's cut to Jameis Winston. And people are going to get real tired real soon when a serious playoff game's happening. And then we cut to Jameis like juggling fire on the sideline, like trying to swallow swords. And he's just like, what kooky thing? I think eventually that's going to escalate until somebody loses an eye. And then Jameis Winston is still going to find a way to try and make that fun. And I find it kind of insufferable. I don't particularly mind if people want to be fun and quirky and everything, but that for me is a bridge too far, Jameis. Like, cool it down a little bit. You're not stealing the starting job of the Giants for being that guy. And it's just occurred to me, if you haven't seen the picture of him, the official photographs of him like suited up in the Giants outfit, somebody commented it looks like he's one of them like fake Halloween like football quarterback Halloween costume, and he looks like he's dressed kind of as a as a Halloween character that is just like an off-brand kind of thing. Just the way that he stood, very very strange. But playing wise, yeah, I was one of the fools that bought into. I've had laser eye surgery now, so I can see where the ball's going. Still threw a bunch of interceptions. Thanks very much for that, mate. And I think that was on the Saints as well.
Yeah.
So last one for me. I just needed another one, so I literally spun a wheel and it landed on the Patriots. And then I thought to myself, what would make me want to sit through a Patriots game?
Mm-hmm.
It's George Kittle. I'm bringing George Kittle across from the Niners. I'm sorry, Bryce Young. I know you just got to the 49ers and you had all of these like fun weapons, but now we've sent George Kittle over to the Pats. I think he's on the right side of entertaining when it comes to being like semi-daft. He's got a great WWE career ahead of him, so that's kind of fun. He could then come out as like a Patriot or something. Who knows? But I was trying to think of like offensive weapons on the Patriots, and for the life of me, and I still can't now, and I haven't Googled it, I don't know who their tight end is. Is it? Yeah, see blanks. So
yeah,
I'm sending George Kittle over there. Feel free to research this one. I think he and Vrabel would get on like an absolute house on fire because Kittle's going to do a bunch of blocking. He's going to have that highlight package that you really want. I think that everyone keeps saying the Pats are a sneaky like underdog this year, which to me means they aren't, because everybody's already jumped on board. Like they're not like a sleeper when 18 different pundits are all saying, look out, maybe the Patriots are on the way up. Yeah, of course they are, because they have to play the Dolphins and the Jets. So already they've won 4 games. And then they could sneak one against the Bills. So that's 5. So they've done a third of their season within their division. So I don't think that they're going to be a sneaky big. I think that they're going to be a solid number 2 in that. They're just unfortunate that the Bills are like absolutely on fire at the moment. However, I think that the Pats have a better strength of schedule as well. So they're going to make their way into the playoffs. And who loves the playoffs? It's George Kittle. And I think that would be a lot of fun. That would make the Pats more bearable to watch. I mean, I'm going to watch them out of morbid curiosity this year. But if I want a more fun watch there, it'd be Kittle. However, Myles Garrett as well could probably be fun there.
Anyone could be fun there. I think that Drake made a really deceptively mobile quarterback as well. He's got legs. I mean, they've all got legs. That was probably too flippant, but I think historically the mobile quarterbacks love their tight end, and they have those really strong relationships. Whether it's Cam and Olsen, whether it's Lamar and Andrews, these. I mean, last year I think Zach Ertz had something like 600 odd yards coming in late for Jaden Daniels, and he did kind of under the radar really well until I think it was 100 yards in the championship game. We did really, really well. And I think when you've got a mobile QB like Drake May with not a massive amount of weapons, he's got Hunter Henry is his tight end, who never really reached the hype. I think that would work really, really nice. I think there'd be a massive connection there. And Kittle is so good. I love Kittle. He's one of my favourite players in the league. He's just brilliant. Great to watch. A very authentically himself as well, which is great.
I could see him on any team.
Yeah,
there is no team that would be worse off for having George Kittle, even if he's just there dressed on the sideline. I just think he instantly makes a team more watchable.
Yeah, 100%. 100% makes them more interesting, and I think they need that. And I'm not excited. I think the Patriots will do well this year, but I'm not excited to watch them. I think they will do enough and they'll get through.
Yeah. I think they'll sneak that kind of like wild card spot, or at least one of them. It won't be convincingly. It'll be just enough, and then next year there'll be a lot of talk about, oh, okay, now they're kind of like back. They've had that 1 year together. They've got a lot tighter if they can keep the same unit together, which Rabel's really good at keeping teams
Yeah,
together.
he's a super
I
coach.
I love him there. It's so
Yeah.
good, and it's written in the stars, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. Perfect fit.
yeah, decent. Right, I guess just to like end us out, a little closing segment, which was well, it was going to be on the NFL Rivals gear, but I'm a week too early, so I'm sorry for anybody who really loves that fashion takes that we had from last week, but. Because who doesn't want to see a bunch of middle-aged dudes talking about clothes of sports stars?
Yeah.
So instead of that, we have pivoted slightly, and we are going with. Hold on, change that, save that, hit that, boom. Favorite football movie? Do you have one? Because Alex was talking the other day, and hear me out, Alex. If you're listening, you said, "Oh, I watched Draft Day and it was terrible." Bad take. Bad take. I watch Draft Day 3 times a year. All right, before the actual NFL draft, during one of our like fantasy drafts, and then one flex. I just like drop it in at some point just to remind me to feel things and to go with your instincts. So Draft Day for me is actually like weirdly up there on favorite football movies. Do you have one, Pete?
I've got a couple. I think I love The Blind Side. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It's been slightly tainted by the kind of the legal case that's come afterwards. Going, well, actually, this was not really accurate, and it's a lot more. She's a lot less of a nice person than is portrayed in the film, but taking it in its own merits. I really, really enjoy that film. I think it's
a work of fiction.
A lot of fun. As a work of fiction, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously, and it's really, really good. And kind of cheating. Friday Night Lights. I've never actually watched a TV show yet, and I love it because the book is the best sports book I've ever read. I adore the novel of Friday Night Lights that the film was based on. The film does a good job of that. It just has some really weird editing choices, really bizarre, like cuts and blends between different scenes, which puts me off. But in general, I think it's a really, really good film.
I've never seen the movie, and I've never read the book, but I managed to get my wife to sit through all, I think 5 or 6 seasons of the TV show. Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose, obviously. And yeah, outside of like movies, I guess we're just talking like NFL media. That was just, it was kind of eye opening because I know it's fiction, but I assume a lot of like the weird kind of like booster stuff actually happens, and they're redrawing state lines so like players can go into different places. But the TV show, arguably, not even just like sports media, I think it's like one of the top 10 greatest shows of all time. You've got some stars in there, like Michael B. Jordan shows up in like season 2 or 3 as a quarterback. Fantastic performance. Wow. I was like, that kid's going to go far. And he did. And he beat up Rocky, or beat up somebody in a Rocky movie. So yeah, I think Friday Night Lights, decent take. I'm going to give the movie a look. For whatever reason, in my head, is it Burt Reynolds in Friday Night Lights? Or is that the original Mean Machine?
That's Mean Machine. Oh, that's a good shout. I like Mean Machine as well.
Well, yeah,
Mean Machine might actually have it for me. Yeah.
Was the Adam Sandler one also called Mean Machine?
Yeah, it was a remake.
Yeah.
There was a,
I wasn't sure
if
they changed the name.
There's like loads of Mean Machine, because the Mean Machine soccer based one with Vinnie Jones in it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And Burt Reynolds is in the Adam Sandler one.
Yes. Yeah, he is. Yeah. No, you're right.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like a nod to the previous. I didn't know that it was a remake the first time I saw it. And for me, obviously, like Adam Sandler has got a couple of football movies. Maybe I'll mention one in a minute. But been a big like wrestling guy, especially at the time, and seeing like Stone Cold Steve Austin like play for the guards and things. Like, if it was a little bit more serious, it could be an incredible movie. But it does suffer from having that kind of like Adam Sandler-iness in there. However, I would forever start Nelly at running back. Just based on that, no shoes, absolutely cruising down to the other end of the field. Wonderful, wonderful film. And speaking of Adam Sandler, Waterboy was kind of the gateway drug to enjoying like American football for me. I think I saw Waterboy, I don't know, 10 years before I'd even seen like an NFL game, but I'd watched Waterboy over and over again. Quite quotable, quite interesting. They didn't focus too much on the sport, I guess. So between Waterboy and the NFL Street game, that's where I kind of like started to like prick my ears up a little bit and start watching it. So I have to give an honourable mention to Waterboy, although I'm sure if I watched it now, it probably wouldn't hold up. So I'm not going back. I refuse to at this time. And I guess I'd be remiss to not bring up Any Given Sunday, which is another one of those like staples. When I'd seen it, Any Given Sunday, I was oblivious to the fact of like who the teams are, and I think it suffers a little bit by just being like made up teams like the Sharks and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I find it a difficult watch. It feels very like Temu NFL, like this team's a bit like that team, that team's a bit like that team, or like the Aldi middle aisle on-offer version of thing. I mean, Jameis Winston could line up in the Halloween version of the Sharks, but again, that just gets quoted all the time, doesn't it? Like, Any Given Sunday, you can win or lose. I don't know. I can't remember the quote now.
That big Pacino rant at the end, that kind of his pep talk is just, it gets the blood flowing, doesn't it? Gets you pumped.
Yeah, and Iron Man clearly stole the twist from the end of Any Given Sunday to then be the Iron Man at the podium, because Pacino's stood there going, I'm taking over this new team. My terrible Pacino impression. I'm taking over this new team, and I would like to introduce to my new starting quarterback, and it's Steaming Willie Beeman, and like everyone's like, what? And it's exactly, if you watch that and then watch the end of Iron Man where he stood at the podium, and it's like, oh, I am Iron Man. Same press, same reaction, same pop.
Amazing.
But that is everything I've got. Pete, you got anything more you want to say to people?
Only thing was to don't forget the listener leagues for 5-Yard Rush. That's the only thing. Rush
listener leagues. Peddle the wares. Make sure that people go out there and sign up. There are links in the bottom of the YouTube videos of the last show, this show, the next one. Obviously, Murph and Co will be back tomorrow with some more good fancy goodness. And I guess we will see you all next week. Cool outro saying. Still streaming.